Yeah, there's a cue that we use often, and we don't often think really about what it means, or I hear questions about what does that cue mean, and so I want to explain it briefly before we get started. You hear that cue when we're standing about pressing down through the big toe mound, press through the pinky toe mound, and then some teachers will say the heel of the foot, some teachers will say that you feel the inner arch of the foot and the outer, or the inner side of the heel and then the outer side of the heel. And what we're explaining is kind of anatomical. It has an anatomical foundation that we have three arches in the feet. You have an arch that runs the medial arch, which goes along the medial side, the inside edge. You have a lateral arch, which runs along the outside edge. And then you have a transverse arch that runs across big toe to pinky toe, basically from the base of the big toe to the base of the pinky toe. So they create this triangle, right? These arches create a triangle, point 1, point 2, and then point 3 back here at the calcaneus. It's a three-dimensional triangle, though. I kind of think of like a pyramid shape, drawing up towards, back towards the talus, which is this bone right here that sits on top of the calcaneus, with both the fibula and the tibia rest right in. So it lifts up like a pyramid. Now, the pyramids of Egypt are four-sided, right? So you hear that cue, we can turn it into four sides by saying that there's an inside part to the heel and an outside part to the heel, and that gives it that fourth dimension. So when you hear that cue, the arches are very important, as we'll explore. I'm going to kind of focus a little bit on the foot in practice this morning and give some cues to pay closer attention to the arches and what happens. But if you have a collapsed arch, or if there is inflammation or pain here, it can contribute all the way up the leg, right? And go from the ankle to the knee and all the way up to the hip, depending on what's happening with the arches and the muscles that are associated with it. You have two muscles that are also really important for balance, and I'll cue this so we can pay attention to it. You have the peroneus longus, which runs along the inside edge, and then you have the tibialis anterior, which those muscles come down and insert on the talus, or kind of go past the talus and on either side of the foot here, and they're referred to as a saddle. And it's a saddle that helps us balance. So you'll notice we're going to do some balancing poses today. You'll notice that you'll see your foot kind of going laterally, side to side, not so much front to back. And you may have noticed it already in your practice. That's the activation and firing of those two muscles to help bring stability to the ankle joint, and then that carries up into the hip. Okay? So you've got this pyramid in the bottom of your foot, and we want to anchor down this downward flowing energy, apana, downward movement, or you could even think of like mula bandha, like a downward lock. And then there's uddiyana bandha, this upward flying energy also, this prana vayu that lifts up. So we anchor down through the four corners, or three, and then at the same time we lift up. Okay? Sound good? All right.